Today, why the man you want to be isn't showing up and how nervous system strength is the missing link. Welcome to Sacred Grit, a podcast equipping men to conquer addiction and overcome inner struggles through physical, mental, and spiritual disciplines so you can become a man of honor and integrity. I'm Jason.lyle. Now let's get to work. Today you'll learn the gap between who you want to be and how you show up is nervous system, not character. Mental health is not just thinking, it's state. And you build the man you want to be by training your system daily. This episode is brought to you by Chuck Swinson. What's up, my dude? Welcome back to the Sacred Grit podcast and Sacred Sunday. All right, so here's the thing, man. A lot of guys will ask me, how do I know if my nervous system is dysregulated? That's a great question. And here's the answer. When your insides don't match your outsides, that's how you know that your nervous system is dysregulated. What I mean by that is when the man you want to be in your head and the man you are becoming are two different people. Okay. So you have this vision, I want to be a man of integrity. I want to be a man of honesty. I want to be a man of all these different things, but you just can't seem to do it. You might wake up in the morning and think, okay, today's the day, right? I'm going to be the man I want to be today, or however that plays out in your mind. But then as the day goes on, you catch yourself doing the same thing and you keep getting the same results, right? Well, that's because your thoughts and your actions are not communicating with one another. Okay. Now I want you to understand that's not a character problem, right? A lot of times we think that it's a character problem. Well, I'm just a bad person. I'm just a broken person. Or maybe if you grew up with Christian theology, I'm just a sinner, or whatever version of that you have come to live with. But that's not true. It is nervous system regulation. Now, here's the thing about your autonomic nervous system or your central nervous system, period. When your amygdala, that's the smoke alarm of your body, your amygdala fires off. It is your fight or flight response. When it fires off, your prefrontal cortex goes offline. Therefore, your brain and your body are not communicating with one another under a rational pretense. They've started communicating with each other through a survival pretense. Now, the reason why we get triggered in the wrong direction so many times, there's a bunch of reasons behind that. And I can't unpack all those on this one episode of Sacred Grit. But some of them include trauma responses. Some of them include cultural appropriation of how we view ourselves, our bodies, our minds, our careers, our social standing. Some of those are tied to rejection from our peer group, right? All those things, if we feel them in the slightest way, they fire off our amygdala. So during the day, the way this may look is you're at work, you get under a lot of stress, and in your subconscious, I don't mean your conscious, but in your subconscious, you might feel like, man, I'm going to lose my job, right? Because I'm not performing the way that I should. And so you get this enormous amount of stress. Well, in that moment, you may not be able to stop and go, no, wait, I'm great at my job. I do a really good job and I'm just overloaded, right? I just have too much stress. Instead, you can't grab that. You start building this whole narrative in your mind. I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to be homeless. I'm going to lose my wife. I'm going to lose my kids. Next thing you know, the brain's out of control and you go doing things that you wish you wouldn't have done. Maybe that comes out in anger. Maybe that comes in alcoholism. Maybe that comes out in pornography use. There's a lot of ways that it comes out, but the nervous system will find a way to regulate itself. Once it regulates itself by whatever means you use, then you'll look back and go, golly, why did I do that? Right? We've all done this. So this is nervous system regulation, not character. This is something that you can train, okay? Because mental health is not just thinking, it's a state, right? It's a state of being. If your nervous system is overwhelmed, your thoughts and behaviors will follow that state every single time. You can remember like this, as the nervous system is, so the man goes, right? So if your nervous system's dysregulated, you're going to have dysregulated behaviors. You're going to have behaviors that you're always trying to calm the nervous system. And all these behaviors that we think of as, we unpack on Sacred Grit here, a lot of addiction, but I'm about to move into even more behaviors like anger, depression, and anxiety. All of those, believe this or not, are attempts to love yourself. We see those things sometimes as like almost the enemy, right? Like they're things that we should be warding off or fighting against. But we have to understand those are the tools that our body has learned how to use over the years to soothe itself. We get angry, we get our way. We drink, our mind calms down. We use pornography, we get release. We eat junk food, we feel better, right? It's not trying to hurt you. Just like depression shuts the body down, anxiety raises the motor up. Those things are not trying to hurt you. They are tools. And so if we start pushing against those things, right? If we start to go, I'm just going to cut out alcohol. I'm just going to cut out pornography. I'm just going to stop being angry. I'm just going to stop being depressed, or whatever else we try to say we're just going to stop doing. We can't do that for long because the alarm goes off in the amygdala, like I was talking about earlier, and we don't know how to soothe it in and of ourselves. That is nervous system regulation, right? So once I learn how to train my system, how to regulate under my own fruition, then when I start to get dysregulated, or I might say I'm going to stop drinking, stop getting angry, stop using porn, whatever, and I feel that feeling coming, I have a tool that I can reach back into my toolbox and go, no, instead of going to drink, get angry, whatever it is I normally do, I'm going to use this tool. Now, I want you to understand that you build the man you want to be by training your system every single day. This is not like a once and done thing. I think that is a problem that we get into with nervous system regulation. Is a lot of guys believe, oh, I got into a cold bath, I did 2 weeks of breath work, I went to a yoga class, or whatever version of that we want to say. But my friend, we don't train something as complex as our nervous system with a one-off tool. It's something that we have to use all the time. We use breath, movement, cold water, stillness. These are what make the best version of you show up consistently because you're learning how to sit with discomfort. We're widening the gap between thought and action. We're beginning to give you tools to where you can say, oh, wait a minute, I know what dysregulated feels like because I do that every single morning. I can get dysregulated, recognize it, and go, oh, wait a minute, I know what that is. So I use this little, saying, breathe, pause, choose, live. We stop and breathe. That's nervous system regulation. We pause and get real honest about where we are. We choose. That means we get curious around what we can do in the moment we're in. We live by loving ourselves enough to do it. And that's what I teach my guys. And here's the thing I'm going to do for you this week. If you'll drop me an email, I will send you a recording of me leading the breath work that I use, a free recording. You could just email me down in the show notes. You'll find my email, click on it, and I will send you that recording of me leading the breath work because that is beginning to give you the tool that you'll need. And you can start feeling what nervous system regulation feels like and start training your system. My dude, it's just like going to the gym. If you do it every day, you do it consistently, you will start to see results. Okay? So today you learned that the gap between who you want to be and how you show up is nervous system, not character. Mental health is not just thinking, it's a state. And you build the man you want to be by training your system daily. My dude, thank you for listening. It means a ton to me. As I said, shoot me an email. I will share that free breathwork audio with you. It's an MP3. You can pop it on your phone, have it with you anytime, and use it as much as you'd like to. I hope it'll give you everything that you are looking for. All right. This episode is brought to you by David Dodd, Edward Jones McDonough. David works for Edward Jones. He is an investment advisor. You can get a hold of him by Googling David Dodd, Edward Jones McDonough, and you'll find his contact information. Reach out to him and let him know that Jason Lyle sent you. All right, my dude. I hope you have a great week. I will see you on Gritty Wednesday.